What's the message? What's the energy of this now? You see how those two go together? That's an intuitive strategy. That keeps you moving and flowing and in your creative momentum. And it is an amazing place to be, and it can only be done when you're feeling safe and grounded. Hey, my beautiful revolutionaries. We are back with another episode of the Glow Up Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Megan Winkler, and today we are talking about your nervous system. This episode might feel like a breath of fresh air. It may also feel like a gentle shake of your shoulders. And in the most extreme cases, you might feel some tension in your stomach or in your shoulders, your neck. So just be aware of where this episode might be showing up in your body, because there is a message for you there. Today, we are not talking about your niche. I know a lot of coaches and a lot of consultants talk about, oh, you've got a niche down your business, niche. We're actually going to be talking about your nervous system and how your nervous system is more powerful than your niche in your business. Stick with me, okay? So imagine with me for just a minute. What if the truth about sustainable success for you is not in a new Instagram strategy or a sales funnel or anything that some strategist out there is saying, but it's in how safe your body feels when you are running your business, right? Because we do need strategies, we do need structure, and we also need this safety, right? Because as I mentioned in a previous episode, sometimes charging more, like boosting your prices up big time, feels really unsafe in your nervous system. Sometimes going live on Instagram or YouTube feels unsafe. I have had clients that have felt very unsafe going on Instagram stories and just kind of chatting to the camera. I used to be one of those people. Okay, so it's not about like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, blah, blah, blah. It's about like, how safe do you feel doing it? And sometimes we have to train ourselves to believe we are safe doing certain things in our business, like showing up on Instagram stories. Because when you show up in a state of nervous system alignment and a state of safety, you're also going to show up with clarity. You're going to be able to sell your offerings without shame, without worrying about whether or not people are going to get annoyed with you. And you can also rest without guilt. Literally, safety in your business changes everything. Now, let's pause here for a second and acknowledge the fact that one of the most unsafe things we can do in our career is to run a business. It's very unpredictable. We don't have that security of being a part of a larger organization. And at the same time, we see large corporations go under all the time, right? We see large corporations cutting positions across the board, hundreds or even thousands of people at a time. So it feels unsafe to run a business. And at the same time, it's just kind of like a different brand of safety, right? Because you're relying on yourself, which can be scary, but that means you're also relying on yourself, which means there's a certain amount of surety to that. So businesses and business owners and coaches and marketing gurus and all that, they teach us that we need to pick a niche and we need to master a strategy and we need to execute it relentlessly. This is really great for our manifestors and our projector types, like the people that can just pull things out and like push it to the world and just do the thing. It's also really good for men. Like, we're being straight up, getting something, putting it out there, and then just go. That relentless execution and relentless energy is not something that people in female bodies can do as easily as people in male bodies. Most of those strategies ignore your body entirely. They don't care if you're on your period. Anybody who's worked in corporate America That time of the month, it doesn't matter what your cramps are doing, doesn't matter how brain foggy you are, how pissed off you are at the world. They do not care. These strategies also don't care if you're recovering from burnout or if you're in the midst of burnout. They don't care if you've got ADHD and you're trying to mask it. They do not care if you're just plain exhausted. These strategies tell you to show up anyway, to be consistent no matter the cost to push through. Here's the thing. Consistency is not about the number of times. Consistency is about the pattern and the predictability. So you could be consistent with one thing a week. That's consistency. Consistency doesn't have to be something you do every day or multiple times a day. Consistency is a predictable pattern, a predictable metric for what you're putting out in the world, how you're showing up, how many clients you see each week. That's the consistency. But all of this strategy, quote unquote, is survival mode disguised as success. On the outside, it looks successful. On the inside, it looks tumultuous. It's like watching, if you've ever seen the videos of a duck swimming. A duck looks so beautiful and serene on the surface of the water, and those little duck feet are just going crazy. They're just going. That's what it's like. Okay, that's what those strategies are like. You cannot build a sustainable business from a place of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And when you're paddling like that, that's where you're coming from. When your nervous system doesn't feel safe, everything feels like a threat. Every little statement from a client that could be remotely implying anything suddenly feels like this mountain that you've created out of a molehill. The launch is terrifying and exhausting. The email sequence is overwhelming. The client boundaries are impossible to enforce, and you feel like you're at your wit's end. Take a big deep breath with me. So I have a feeling you've been there. Yeah. You're safe. I'm just talking to you. You're safe. And when you feel safe in your body, you become unstoppable in the softest, most consistent, and most powerful way. You're like a river that continues washing over the rocks and the banks, and you just keep flowing. If you've ever stood in a beautiful mountain river, and especially on a hot day, and you step into that clear, cool water, and it's so cold on your feet at first, and like maybe you're in there up to like shin height or to your knees, and you step into that water, and it's like suddenly your whole body starts cooling off because your feet are in this cold mountain water. And you can just feel the gentle push of that water against your skin, and it just keeps flowing. Like your legs are creating a resistance, and it just flows around them. It flows between them. It makes this beautiful caress around that element that's in its way, and it just keeps moving. That's what business strategy that is aligned with your nervous system and that safety that creates, that's what that feels like. Because we bring you out of looking for danger, right? There are no bears in this mountain stream, okay? This mountain stream image that we have created, there are no bears. It is safe. There are no strangers. It's just you and this river. It's focused. It's creative. It's clear. It carries fish from point A to point B. It provides a beautiful place for otters to build their homes, or beavers to build their dams, for deer to come up and get a cool, fresh drink of water. It is thriving. It is beautiful. And these kinds of rivers are also so clear. And I hope you're enjoying this metaphor, because it really is what's coming through for me right now as we're talking about this from Spirit. That when we create this safety, when a strategy is aligned with our needs as a human being, we can create this consistent, serene environment that even if there's a storm overhead or some crazy white water rafting person comes down and, I don't know, gets their kayak stuck on rocks, like, we can deal with it because we're just this continual flow. So if you've been with me for a while, you have probably heard me talk about sacred strategy and also sacral strategy. And this is my approach to business. I've started using this term sacral strategy to resonate with the sacral chakra. It's how a lot of generators work. Not everybody. It's how I work particularly. So I'm like, oh, it's my business. So guess what? But the sacral chakra is this cauldron of creativity and this space of creating something imaginable, incredible. I don't know what word was trying to come out of my mouth, but the most incredible, imaginative, creative, embodied business and creations. Just listening a lot to spirit today, y'all. So thank you for working with me through these pauses. It's an embodied approach to a business. And it starts with one foundational belief, and that is you cannot hear your inner wisdom when you're in a stress spiral. Our bodies, our biology is so geniusly constructed that it does not waste resources. So if our energy, our blood sugar, our attention, all of our resources are going to the stress spiral we're in, and however that looks, it might look like fight, might look like flight, freeze, or fawn. Like however that looks, like it's still like this little tornado of stress in our heads, right? We don't have resources to listen to anything else. We don't have resources to listen to our inner wisdom, our soul. Our spirit guides could be, I don't know, dancing a Fosse musical around us, and there's no way would you be able to tune into that. Now, a lot of people can approach a problem with a very logical mindset. However, even more people don't do that. And if you are intuitive, if you trust your intuition, you trust your gut and other things, and you're already doing that naturally, you need to bring that element into your business. Absolutely. Look at KPIs, ROIs, GPAs, whatever, all of these acronyms. Look at this hard data for your business, but also tune into your gut. So one of the ways that you can do that is you can actually look to see like what Instagram posts, for example, have performed the best in the past 6 months. And so you'll come up with like your top 3 best performers in the past 6 months. And so that's the data stuff, right? That's the thinking stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. So then what you can do is you can pull those, you can look at the topics, you can see how people were responding to that and interacting with that. And then you can sit down and you can lean into your gut, lean into your intuition and say, okay, how does my audience need to see this message now? Most of the women that come to me think they need to have more discipline, that they need to be more organized, that they need to do more, they need to structure things more. And actually what they need is more regulation. They need more breath. They need more softness. They need more nervous system care. And maybe that sounds really familiar to you. So how do we kind of build this into the structure, right? Because it's a both and situation, right? With your business, you have both the very structured, systematic, momentum focused, goal oriented side of your business. And you also have the softer, intuitive, creative, imaginative, innovative part of your business. And these two parts come together, right? We always need these two parts working together. Too much structure on one end will burn you out because you just are not going to care anymore. It's going to be emotional burnout. It's going to be energetic burnout, spiritual burnout, like all this stuff. And then on the other side, if you're too in the flowy creative space, you're not going to get anything done. Because the flow and the creativity just flows for itself and for you. It doesn't really flow necessarily with a goal in mind. Got to put the goal in place. So, what this can kind of look like in your business and in your schedule is creating spaces and energetic containers for nervous system maintenance, care, and regulation. So, it can look like building in real breaks in your schedule. Can look like if you get all of your work done early, calling it a day. Like you don't have to push longer just because there's more hours in the afternoon. Call it a day. Hit the road. Go, I mean, literally go walk around the neighborhood or take yourself out to coffee or go Netflix binge for a little while, whatever. Release the pressure to go viral. Release the pressure to rack up views. Excuse me. Think about it. If you were in a room and 200 people liked what you said and told you, you'd be so overwhelmed. And yet, if we get only 200 likes on Instagram or TikTok, we feel like we're a failure. Don't buy into that. It looks like working with your cycle instead of working against it. So if you feel like you should be resting, or if you've just started your period and you are completely drained, like work with that energy. Go into those quieter spaces in your business. Go do some admin work. Do some follow-up. Nurture yourself. Nurture your people. And then when you have higher energy and, you're in that follicular phase where like you're just glowing and energized, that's when you can launch stuff. That's when you can really step forward and into the limelight. Don't punish yourself for resting, my friends. This is how you build a business that doesn't just pay the bills, it actually nourishes you, right? Like you formed your business so that you could have a better life. You didn't form your business so your life could be about your business, right? So if you feel like you can't trust yourself to follow through on things, if it feels like every launch is just a cortisol spike in strategy words, if you're exhausted but wired all the time, it's that horrible, like manic, frenzied, I want to sleep and I can't get my mind to stop. You are not broken. You are, however, dysregulated. And that's okay. The thing is that's normal. It's normal for us in modern time to fall into this dysregulation, right? There's nothing wrong with you for having done it. As we talk about burnout and dysregulation, it's like, it sucks that we have normalized burnout, and we shouldn't have normalized burnout. At the same time, it is part of our modern day human condition to sometimes fall into dysregulation. If we can shorten that amount of time when that happens, we prevent burnout, right? So you do not have to live in this constant state of dysregulation, of burnout, of overextending yourself, and you do not have to run your business like that. Building sustainable success isn't about pushing harder. It's about coming home to your body and working in alignment. It's about honoring your capacity. So if you feel like you're at your wit's end and your energetic end with one-on-ones, like let's talk, because that means that it's time for you to scale in some way. So it means it's either time to raise your prices, create a group program, create a course, work on a series of ebooks, like it's something, right? So that you can continue to grow, but you're not going to wear yourself out. Okay. Your capacity is really important. It's about a business that feels like safety, not survival. One of the biggest things you can do safety-wise in your business is to make sure you're keeping up on your finances. Because when you know day to day how much money is coming in, how much is going out, it is predictable, it is consistent, and it spells safety for your nervous system. Even if you're not making a whole lot of money yet, even if it is just your side gig right now, knowing what's going on and developing that pattern now and early is great for your nervous system. Okay. So as we kind of wrap up here, I want to remind you that your business is here to take care of you. And yes, you take care of it, you nurture it, of course. And it is here to sustain your lifestyle. So make sure that your lifestyle isn't getting wrapped up in all the things that you have to do for your business and that you're not overextending yourself. If this spoke to you today, please share it with a friend. Send me a DM or, comment on Spotify, Apple, or Instagram, or even on Patreon. Patreon is a nice, safe spot for us to interact. It's a lot more private over there. So, drop me a line, let me know how this made you feel. And let's take a big old deep breath together. Because you are safe. You are magical. You are powerful. You are creative. You are held. You are loved. You are respected. You are amazing. And I am so proud of you for showing up for yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the podcast. If you need anything, reach out to me. You can always find me at meganwinkler.com, and that has all the links to all the other places. And until next time, take care of yourself, stay hydrated, stay creative, and remember to breathe. See you next week.